have something I want to talk about. First of all, I am Carnivore 71. That's, that I guess is called my, I don't know what you call that, but anyway. And by the way, this is about carnivore, and it's also about the Lord, because I do a lot of preaching, or I did. I don't preach much anymore, but I will be throwing some things in on this, if so need to be. But first of all, I want to say I want to live. I want to live. And I'm not Susan Hayward from the 1956 movie, but I want to live. And by that I mean, if I'm not saying I want to live to be 100. If I did, that would be fine too. But not unless I'm healthy. Not unless my body can hold up to it. What good will I be to live to be 100 if I'm a burden on my oldest child, which would be 88 years old? I don't want her taking care of me. I'm Carnivore 71. The reason I came up with that name is I'm 71 years old. I have done for years, off and on, not religiously, but for years since the 1970s, there was a Dr. Stillman. His book came out, and it was a low carb. Actually, you ate mainly, I think, hamburger meat and shrimp cocktail, and he allowed ketchup, and it was very strict, and I couldn't handle it. I was young, I couldn't do that one. But I tried it for a while, and then not long after that came you all know who he is, Atkins, the Atkins diet, and that was a little more tolerable, and that one really kind of went on into the 90s, off and on to the 90s, but I really could never stick with any of them for very long. And then, of course, then we got keto, and then keto came in, and keto, when it came in kind of much later, and when it came in, it was like, oh, this is something new, you know, and it was like, keto, it's something new. Everybody was like, wow, but keto was so much like Dr. Atkins. Dr. Atkins actually wanted you to buy the keto sticks and to check your own body to see if you were in ketosis, and I did all of that. I did the keto. And what I found out, not everybody, this is what I believe, not everybody needs to be on carnivore 100%. And I know that they're saying that carnivore is the answer to all good health, and I believe it is. I believe it is. But there is proof that there are people who can tolerate carbs. In fact, as for the carb intolerant, there are people that are carb intolerant, and I'm one of them. If I eat too many carbs, or even very little carbs, it affects me very much. But it causes irritable bowel syndrome, it causes weight gain. Anytime I get on carbs too heavily, I will start gaining weight. And this is a problem. And here, being carb intolerant is the inability to digest certain carbs due to the lack of one or more intestinal enzymes. So somebody's lacking something in their body that is intolerant to carbohydrates, who can't handle carbohydrates without them making them gain weight or have irritable bowel syndrome or even diseases. And that's another story, which I know a lot of people are going to really push back on that, but I have done a lot of research through other doctors and on YouTube who have explained how this works. One thing we do know, that sugar feeds on cancer. And I had a friend who her husband did have cancer, and the doctor said, listen, and not many doctors today will tell you the truth. He said, if you'll just go ahead and get off sugar. He said, get on a keto diet. At that time, this was like 5 years ago, I guess he didn't know about carnivore. He said, get on a keto diet. And the man gave up his sugar, gave up his white flour, his starches, his processed foods, and he no longer had cancer. He was cured. Now, I'm not sure if he might have had surgery or not, but I know he's not had any cancer since, but I believe his cancer went away. I believe it just went away. So there are incidents out there. There are stories out there to be told, and then you will find it on YouTube whenever you will YouTube carnivore. As a child, I want to tell you about myself. As a child, I could not eat processed cold cereals. Now, in the 60s, that was a big thing. You kids didn't have the bacon and eggs much anymore. Now we were eating cereals. Dry cereals had been processed, and they were given vitamins, and you drank it with milk. And the vitamins in the milk was supposed to be a really good thing for you, and it was processed wheat, processed rice. It was I do believe the government had some kind of interest in that, because they were growing these things. They were growing the wheat. They were growing this, and then they were hoping that they could get America to start eating that instead of eating beef and protein and the eggs and the bacon. Then, of course, later we hear the eggs are going to kill you. Bacon's bad. That's a whole other story. I'm getting ahead of myself. But as a child, I could not eat processed cereal or drink just cold milk. But yet now I can have half and half, and it doesn't affect me that way. But what happened was I had an intolerance even as a child. I would get upset stomach. I could not tolerate cereal and milk. And my grandmother never did put that on me. She would not feed me that. She raised me. But I would go visit my cousins, and there were 4 of them. And all those kids, we get up Sunday morning because she sent us all to church. And on Sunday mornings, I remember they all got up. They all could help themselves to their cereal and their milk. And my aunt said, "Oh, don't you want some?" I said, "No, I would rather go hungry." And even today, when I wake up, I'm not ready to eat. I'm not ready to eat till sometime noon or maybe 3 in the afternoon. It depends. And especially since I'm on carnivore now and eat more protein, I eat less often, don't really have an appetite. But as a child, I didn't feel hungry. I just could not. I knew if I ate the cereal and milk, I would have an upset stomach and just be sickly. So sickly I could hardly walk. Also, it made me extremely sleepy and lethargic. If I had cereal, the sugar and all that cereal and the milk just tore me up. So, but what my grandmother did, sometimes on school mornings, what she would do, she knew if I had something, she wanted me to have something in my body. So what she did is she didn't cook breakfast every morning. She raised 3 kids, 3 of her grandchildren, and it was a house full, and it was not easy for her. So a lot of times she would just offer me some hot chocolate. Now, what I have discovered since then, and she probably knew this, that the cocoa powder, the chocolate in the cocoa powder actually is an antioxidant, and what it did, it helped improve the blood sugar levels in my body. So it calmed my stomach pains. I could drink the hot chocolate, and it didn't upset my stomach as much. So I could go on to school and feel just fine, and I had something on my stomach, and she felt better that I had something on my stomach. Because I remember being 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, I could not tolerate milk. I could not tolerate the lactose in it, the sugar in it. Now, my cousins who had the cereal in the milk, this is why I believe this theory is right. There were 4 of them. There's still 2 have passed away. No, 1 has passed away. And there's 3 left. But all of them, as adults, never had a weight problem. Now, how could they have lived on all this sugar, ate all this cereal, and my cousin, the oldest one, he's a guy, his name is William, he goes out to eat every meal, and he shows it on YouTube. And he eats pancakes, he eats honey buns, he has all kinds of food that I cannot look at without gaining weight. But it doesn't affect his body because he does not have an intolerance to carbohydrates, and he will not gain weight. He'd never been obese. I have been obese, and that in my side of the family, for some reason, my side, it's my mother's side, I believe, where it runs that way, that I'm intolerant to carbohydrates and sugars and white flours and processed foods. I always gained weight eating sugar and sugar-loaded carbs and processed carbs. Only could I control weight gain if I ate high-fiber carbs. Now that I did later. Later, it was about 2005. Now I had pretty much leveled my weight, or not, kept it pretty under control, but actually 20 pounds more than I am right now, and I still felt like it was under control because I would get on and off is what happened. I get on and off any kind of carb diet I was on. I would get on and off it, and I finally realized in 2005 that I have to stick with something. I have to stick for the rest of my life, watch myself in order to keep my weight down. But I found out if I eat high fiber carbs and don't eat the processed carbs and the sugar-loaded white flours and all that stuff and all the sugar, that I could get by with eating carbs if they, like I say, when they were high fiber, because they slowly digested. There wasn't a sugar rush. They had to process because they were fiber, and that kept the process from you getting a sugar rush. And it's the sugar rush or the sugar spike that causes weight gain. This is what I've been doing some studying on. I may not be clearly saying it the way it should be said because I'm not a doctor. Although I really enjoy hearing Dr. Ken Berry. He's a carnivore, and he's on YouTube. You need to look him up. Go to YouTube and then look up Dr. Ken Berry. And he has all kinds of great information that I'm just going to touch on the very, very few, tell about my life and what I've learned from my own. So what happened in 2005, no, it was actually, I think 2000, yes, it was 2005. No, it was 2015. The Lord says, Deborah, I'm a Christian, I do hear from God, and I'm not crazy. I've been praying about it. Lord, what can I do? Because I'm up and down all my life. And so what happened was, in 2015, the very beginning of 2015, I had a doctor, or actually 2014 probably, I had a female doctor that would not give me my hormone therapy. Well, that was a big deal because I'd gone through menopause and I still was on the hormone therapy. I didn't see any problem with it. I've never had any cancer in my family. In mine of genes, there's been nobody having cancer. So I could choose to do that, I would think. I would have the choice if I don't have any problems with cancer that wasn't in my family. And so this doctor said I could have it. And then when I went to this other doctor, she said she didn't want me to have it anymore. She cut me off like bam, just cut me off. Well, that traumatized me. Not only did it traumatize me mentally, it traumatized me physically, and I did start gaining weight. One thing was it caused such a depression. She didn't take me off slowly, nor did she even give me time to work it up in my brain. You know, our head has a lot to do with our physical health too, how we think and what we feel and what we're thinking. And so she just jerked it out from under me. And so I was traumatized. So what happened was I gained weight instantly. I gained so much weight. I can't remember how much weight I gained. It was probably nearly 30 pounds I gained. And so I said, okay, I can't take this. So I went to another doctor, and he did tell me that he would put me back on the hormone therapy. Now, I know you're thinking, aha, it's the hormone therapy that helped you lose weight. But no, it wasn't. I believe I could get off the hormone therapy, and I'm still going to be fine. There's too many of us carnivores out there that our weight is under control on the carnivore. But I got back on that, and it really did help me mentally. And then I got back on, in fact, at that time, the Lord said, this is what I want you to do. He said, I said, how am I to eat, Lord? How am I to eat? And he said, haven't I told you before, which he had already told me this a few years back, high protein, that's number one, high fiber, high fat. And so I said, Lord, I've got to write that down so I won't forget it. It's so easy to forget it when you go to somebody's birthday party and go and have the sugar cake and eat all you want. And I even thought that it was okay to have a piece of cake and then, you know, you go back to what you do. But no, you don't give an addict something, somebody that has an addiction problem to something, you don't let them have a little bit of it. I cannot have that. Although I will go back and say one thing. That's not totally true, because I could eat dark chocolate candy and it not spin me off. But it was dark chocolate. I had a feeling that dark chocolate must have did something to where it didn't give me a blood rush or something. But this is what I went to Hobby Lobby after the Lord told me that. And this was like in 2015, after all this went on, after I'd already got back on the hormone therapy. And I said, Lord, I know I got to eat right, because this medicine's not going to do it. It's not the medicine, but mentally getting off the medicine hurt me. This is what he said: go to Hobby Lobby and write down what I told you. I don't know if this is going to, if y'all are going to be able to read this, if it's going to be backwards or not, but there it was. I went to Hobby Lobby and I wrote this down and I put it in my breakfast area, which you can see the breakfast area from the kitchen is opened area. And I could every morning get up and say, the Lord spoke. Haven't I told you? High protein, high fiber, and fat. So this is what the Lord will remind me. And we need the fat, women. We need the fat for us females need this. We need the fat. And anyway, so I've done that. I've done that for a long time. But lately, I just need something else. I feel, and too, I'm getting older. I need something else. It's too easy to get off of that. It was too easy to get off of that, and it wasn't actually helping me to lose some weight, because I'm still overweight, and I know I need to lose some weight. And I find myself gaining, maybe having a little bit too many high fiber carbs, like sweet potatoes, and there's so many high fiber carbs out there. And I had learned from Googling and reading that the fiber content took away some of the carb content, or the fiber content does something in the body that helps you not absorb sugars and carbs so much. But it wasn't doing what I felt. For one thing, I still had brain fog. I still had real bouts of depression. I felt like I really didn't have the control that I wanted on my body. And yes, we are to choose for our body. No, I can't control what's going to happen to me, but I can choose the right way, or I can choose something that will preserve my body. If I know that, let's say, smoking is going to hurt me, and I can get off the cigarettes, and hey, I have the choice to do that, to better my body, better myself. Then, I've been doing low carb since the 70s, I told y'all that. And then, of course, I did the Atkins. Like I said, I did the keto. Like I say, in 2015, I told you what I've done. And like I told you about the new doctor. Then what happened was, when the Lord spoke to my heart, it says, Deborah, high protein, high fiber, and fats. He also said, do 100 carbs a day. Instead, don't be dramatic. You know, keto is fixed to make you fail. Who can live on 20 carbs or 30 carbs a day? But wait a minute, don't get me wrong. Carnivore is 0 carbs. But let me tell you, you're not going to crave them once you're off of them completely. So when I was just getting a little bit of carbs, 30 carbs a day, if I know mentally in my head, I'm going to get some carbs, but I'm only going to get 30. So what do I want for just 30 carbs? Is it a half of a sweet potato, or is it some chips and salsa when I go out to eat? Or is it a taco shell? So you have to, with carnivore, you never think about anything. You just know how you're going to eat. Although there is an exception. I will go into that in a minute. How, like I say, not everybody's called to be carnivore, and not everyone has a resistance to some things that are not carnivore. And I'll tell you that in a minute. But the Lord said, Deborah, do 100 carbs a day. I did that now for like 7 years. And then, well, actually 8 years, because I'm just now, that was in 2015, I'm just now in 2023 going carnivore. I started carnivore in July and hadn't been but 2 months. And I already have lost 4 pounds, which the pound is not the most important. I feel better. My legs don't hurt as much. Oh, that's another thing. In 2015, I wanted to tell y'all, my daughter had graduated with her master's degree, and we had to go to Houston to see her graduate from Sam Houston. And I had to be on a walker. I was so overweight. My joints hurt me so bad. I was in such pain, I literally could not walk without a walker. Tell me that getting on low carbs or getting off of carbs isn't the best thing you do for your body. My body healed itself. When I got off of that, and when she took away my hormone therapy, I went crazy. I ate things I shouldn't have ate. I gave up. I was a basket case. Of course, mentally, I guess you would be if you get off your hormone therapy. And I ate anything I wanted, and that's how I gained all that weight. And I was in such physical pain that I couldn't walk without a walker. And so, but then when I got back on getting things correct in 2015, the end part of 2015, I put the walker down. I hadn't used a walker since. But yet, I have to watch my weight, and I still do. I've watched it all this time. But there's a lot of brain fog still. There's been a lot of something. I needed more. I want something more. And so what it was, I heard Dr. Ken Berry. I heard him talk about the carnivore. And then I got excited. I said, hey, I never thought about that. I thought that would be considered too dramatic. And I thought, everybody fusses about keto. They're really going to fuss you say you're a carnivore. But I saw the benefits. He's a doctor. I was totally convinced. And then he had a woman on there on one of his shows called Kelly Hogan. Kelly Hogan, she was huge. I'm sorry, Kelly, you're hearing this. But she's a tiny thing right now, and she's done it for years. And what these two people have done also. But first, let me tell you about. She's got 2 children. She taught school, and she had her 2 little kids, and she had a very busy life. And her and even Ken Berry, I know they knew each other back then. But when she got on carnivore, she was so busy with her job and with her work that she would just go through McDonald's and order her 2 quarter pounders. And she would eat those, rushing back and forth, take care of her kids, go to school, do her job. So she lived on fast food. She didn't have to have the best of the best. She lived on fast food. And they're even saying you don't even have to eat the best protein or the best quality protein. Just eat the protein. And the eggs, the yolk of eggs. Eat the yolk of eggs, people. You need the protein. Now, Ken Berry, I put this on my Facebook one time. I took it off because, I don't want to offend anybody. And that's another problem. I am tired of worrying about offending anybody anymore. I want to live. And I think other people out there want to live. So, this doctor, I see a video of him. He goes through McDonald's, went drive through, and he says, I want 7 quarter pounders on the cart and a fork. So they bring him seven of them, 7 quarter pounder patties, and he's got his fork, and he is so happy. And this man, he knows what he's doing. And of course, he's been a carnivore for a long time, and he's the one that he explains this. Okay, now, not only that, I want to tell y'all this other. That was Dr. Ken Berry. I really respect this man. All right, now, he has a heart surgeon on his show also, on his YouTube show. He has this heart surgeon, and his name is Phillip Obadia. I may not pronounce that right. Phillip Obadia. He's a heart surgeon. If you want to see about him and what he says, look up Heart Surgeon Carnivore. And he says he's got, in fact, this is the name of his YouTube, Stay Off My Operating Table. This man is convinced it's the American diet, the getting off the fat, getting off the protein, having the sugar and the processed garbage is what's killing the heart and the sugar. It's not fat. Fat's not killing your heart. Fat's not causing the heart attacks. But you're not going to hear that. The medical industry is making money on you. If you're eating all that stuff and you have a heart attack, they're making money on you. But now, Dr. Phillip Ovadia, he says, stay off my operating table, eat this way, be a carnivore, eat the carnivore way. Now, I admit, not everybody is called or meant to be carnivore. If you are somewhat intolerant to starches, see, I could really eat the starches that were high fiber, but I didn't eat but 100 carbs a day. And I was doing, I wasn't losing a lot of weight. I did get down, but I wouldn't get any smaller. And but the thing was, I was still tired, and I had days that, since I already was having carbs, I had days I would say, okay, I'm going to have a donut day. And I really did that. I would have a day that I would have donut and Coke if I wanted it. And I said, okay, tomorrow. And I was very disciplined. I would go get some donuts, at least 6 of them, sugar-coated donuts. I would get 6 of those, and I would have canned Cokes. I would have a party. I would. It'd be a party by myself, but I had fun. And I would eat all that. And then the next day I was fine. I'd go right back to my 100 carbs a day, and I went back to the high fiber carbs if I ate a carb. So it isn't that I was like crazy, as far as out of control. I was in control, but I was hurting my body. And also, it ages you fast. Carbs and sugar will age you fast. It ages the inside of your body, and it ages the outside of the body. And we're going to age anyway. And that's going to happen to all of us. And like I say, I don't care to be 100, but Lord have mercy, I'm 71 now. I would love to have at least 20 more years. If I could live 20 more years and just be healthy, if I could just live 20 more years and not have any aches and pains, and live 20 more years and be able to have a sound mind, and be able to not have a foggy brain, and not be depressed, and not be down all the time, then yeah, I don't mind being 91. But 100 is kind of like, I don't know, that doesn't even sound attractive to me. Anyway, I guess that's nothing to do with that. I don't care to be 100. But even, whatever time my time is, our days are numbered. The Word of God says our days are numbered. And the Lord has numbered our days, and we have an appointment. We all have an appointment to die and be face to face with God. We all have an appointment. And, I want my time when God calls me to call me, but during the time I have, I want to be healthy. And I don't have to let myself go. We are to take care of our bodies. The Word of God, I don't have the scriptures on all that, but the Word of God, no, God didn't say in the Bible, you got to be a carnivore. Nor did He say in the Bible, you got to do keto. But He did say our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And we're to take care of our bodies. And what a lot of people think that means is you're not supposed to you'd be fornicating and doing all that. But that's not all. He's talking about you don't abuse your body. Fill it with nothing but sugar and white flour and starch and processed garbage. You never get any real food, healthy food in you. And even then, some of you, if you're having a hard time controlling your weight, you must be carb intolerant, I would think. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I would think you're probably carb intolerant. You ought to just really at least try keto if you're not ready to give up all carbs. And really, I'm going to tell you something about me. I haven't given up all either. I'll tell you in a minute. But I'm going to tell you. I don't know if he's a doctor or not, but someone on YouTube that is a carnivore, they said that strawberries were, somehow or other, strawberries were okay. I don't know why they come up with that. Strawberries, you can still be called a carnivore if you have strawberries. Well, I call myself 95% carnivore because I do have strawberries. But somebody else says, well, if you use Splenda or you drink, put artificial sweetener in your stuff, it'll make you crave. It doesn't make me crave. I do have my Splenda and my frozen strawberries. I get them from Sam's. They're sliced strawberries. And I put them in my little mixer thing and food processor, and I put half and half in there. Half and half, it comes from the cow. Half and half is carnivore. But I go ahead and I have that. That gives me something cold and sweet. It doesn't make me want to go out and buy candy. It doesn't make me want to give up doing what I'm doing. It's something that I do get to, if I want it. But normally, everything else, it's going to be anything. See, anything that the cow produces or the animal produces, anything that the chicken produces, which would be eggs, and then of course you've got with a cow, you've got butter. Yes, you can eat butter, all the butter you want. In fact, there's another doctor here. You got to listen to her. Dr. Annette Bosworth. Annette Bosworth. She loves real butter, and honey, she will eat a lot of butter. And I eat butter now. I find out most of these carnivores put butter all over their steak after it's cooked, let it warm. Woo, that sounds so good, and I'm doing that. I put butter on my meat. It's good. Makes it great. I'd rather do that than some of the sweet things, ketchup or something like that. Now, where was I? I done forgot. Okay. Anyway, so I forgot where I was. I shouldn't do that. I'm getting old. No, not really. Anyway, so doing what I'm doing has been the best thing I've done in my life. I am excited to live, and I don't dread it. I don't hurt. Let me tell y'all, also when I was on that walker, I could not stand. I'm standing up right now. I'm not leaning on anything. I don't have a crutch by me. And when I was on that walker, the pain was so bad, I could not stand. I could not even stand up like I'm doing now for like 5 minutes. I had to hold on to something, hold on to it. And I know what that's like. I don't have that. Why in the world would I want to go back to having cakes, ice cream, cookies, candy, and all that junk food and processed foods, foods that have so many ingredients on what they are anymore? They've done changed it all. They change even the foods that they say, well, it's grown from, it's corn. Well, they've changed corn so much, it's not corn anymore. It's just a bunch of stuff with corn. And so just to feel better is worth this for me. Some of you are saying, I know what you're going to say next, but I can't tell you. I know you can't tell me. I wish you could. But I'll probably go back and see it again. My next video, maybe I'll address it when I couldn't remember. But, all right, I told you about Kelly Hogan. Oh, Kelly Hogan, not only does she was she going by in those days when her kids were little, and she was teaching, and the kids were so small as they were going back and forth, and she would go and get her 2 quarter pounders. Do you know that right now this woman eats 2 pounds of beef a day? 2 pounds of beef a day. I have bought some turkey, smoked turkey. Actually, it was done it was grilled turkey. And the company that makes it, oh my goodness, they put it in a vacuum package. It is it tastes like it's come off the grill, except it's cold. It is so delicious. The flavor, what am I saying? Everything. Now, I eat that, and you know what? It comes in a pound package. I can't even eat the whole thing at one time. Now, even during the whole day, I can get a pound of it. But Kelly, you've got to look up Kelly Hogan. YouTube Kelly Hogan. She is very thin. This woman's a tiny thing. And she's in her 40s, and she looks like she's in her 20s. Yes, that's true. That's what carnivore will do for you. It'll make you look younger than what you are. Now, she eats 2 pounds of beef a day. And no telling what else she eats. I mean, she probably eats some other kind of carnivore food. I don't know. She eats bacon. I know they eat a lot of bacon. And, I know what to tell you. The cow produces butter. The cow produces milk. Cottage cheese comes from the cow. And then you've got the beef. And then you've got all these things that come from the cow. Okay, then you've got the chicken has the eggs. You eat these things. They're all protein foods. And there's so much to choose from. Oh, and I do eat real mayonnaise. Real mayonnaise. I eat Duke's real mayonnaise because mayonnaise is made out of eggs. Mayonnaise is eggs whipped. Really good. And this is a real McCoy. Now, there were 2 different brands of mayonnaise that I used to love 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now they put sugar in it. Now listen, Miracle will pass sugar. If I want real mayonnaise, I don't want sugar. But they start sugaring that. They're trying to put sugar down us every time we turn around. It's a sugar world, let me tell you. So, eat the chicken. Eat them fried. Eat them how you want. Eat fats. Eat fats. Oh yes, eat fats. Eat the chicken. Eat the meat. Eat the egg that it produces, and then enjoy all the things that the cow produces, all the foods that he produces, and it's a wonderful way to live. I am so excited to be my age. Oh, and that's another thing. I saw my doctor not even 6 months ago, y'all. Not even 6 months ago. Of course, I was already kind of doing the high protein. And he even told me before I started carnivore, no, I take it back because I discussed carnivore with him. So it wasn't no 6 months ago because I did discuss it with him. He said, Deborah, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. He said, then he gets on the computer and he starts reading off all my tests. Oh my gosh, this looks good, that looks good, all your blood work looks good, your bone density test looks good. A 71-year-old woman usually doesn't have a good bone density. Usually she starts losing bone and they start worrying about osteoporosis by that time, or fear coming on them. He said, you're great. He said, I even see that your structure in your, where was it? It was my neck or somewhere here, my structure here. These bones were good. And he wasn't expecting that at my age. He said, Deborah, you do whatever it is working for you. Keep doing it. And he was so glad. I have proof of that. I'm not just talking to be talking. And he says, keep doing this, keep coming back, and we'll keep testing you, and we'll keep up with it. And so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to see what he says in 6 months, and see what he says, have more tests, and see what he says about my body, what's going on, if I'm taking care of it or not. If there's any change in the muscular or the skeletor, if there's any change in that. He's taken back by the skeletor being in such good condition. He said it wasn't worn in places that it should be worn, and I forgot where that was because he showed me. It was somewhere in the upper part of the body. He was showing me where normal people my age, that's already starting to wear. He said, yours isn't wearing. And so I wanted to hug that doctor. But he said, keep doing what you're doing. I wouldn't do this, people, just to be saying it and tell you about it. And I sure would. I mean, I admit vanity would make me do it in my younger days, but I'm at my age now, I wouldn't do it for vanity reasons. Because one thing, I don't even know if I would know about it, for one thing. And I admit, my younger days, a lot of it was vanity. But hey, you get healthy too. And if it keeps you from aging real fast, I'll go for that. I mean, I'm not going to complain if that's what happens. All right, you got to hear Lisa is her name. Lisa, well, that's what she goes by. D1. Lisa D1 on YouTube. Listen to her. She's got some good things too. Now, like I said, I already told y'all, didn't I, about the strawberries? Yeah. I have my strawberries at night. That's my treat. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for nothing. But just sometimes I can only eat maybe a pound of meat and I'm ready to go to bed. I want no more food. You don't get hungry. You don't wake up hungry. I don't wake up hungry. Now, sometimes I do. But that's because maybe, I don't know why that is, but it's not like I'm starving, but I can go so long, and I'm not a morning person as far anyway, and when I do first wake up, I normally don't eat anyway, but this protein is so amazing. Hey, you don't get hungry, and you just don't get hungry. Your body is so satisfied. You don't have sugar rushes up and down, you don't have all that. It stabilizes your blood sugar, stabilizes everything. And sometimes I have to make myself eat. So you need to eat, really. You didn't have 6 ounces of a hamburger patty. You might need to eat something before going to bed. And so I will. And then there's times, there have been days I have eaten 2 pounds maybe, I don't know, of all kinds of stuff. But, I love it. And you will too. If you care about your body, hey, if someone says, hey, guess what? You don't have to do this diet, but you can live to be 100 if you want to. No. I don't want to be 100 and sick. I don't want to be 80 years old using a walker. I don't want to use a walker now. And I did And when I was 63 years old in 2015, I was using a walker. I was 63 and I was on a walker. My husband wasn't on a walker at that time, which he is now. He's a blue belt addict. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm trying to convince him, to get off the blue belt. He loves his ice cream. But that's between him. That's his business. But I try. A wife can't demand her husband to do right, can she? You can only pray for them and hope they will. So, this is just wonderful. All right, now, I want to tell you what, there's a Dr. Kerry, not doctor, I'm sorry, he's not a doctor. There's a YouTuber named Kerry, and his site is called Homestead, Homestead Who. I should have it here. I should have it written down somewhere. Anyway, you want to look him up. It's called Homestead How. Homestead How. And his name is Kerry. Now, here it is. HomeSteadNow. Sorry. I got it right here. HomeSteadNow. All right. Kerry is his name. Now, Kerry found Bill Knott. Bill Knott. N-O-T-T is his last name. Bill Knott. He lives in Alaska. And he is over 700 pounds, and not even quite 2 months ago, he got on YouTube, or he got on something, and connected with Kerry HomeSteadNow, and he wanted to do the carnivore diet. He said, I don't know how to go about it. I don't know how to go about doing a YouTube, and he said he wanted to do it. He has been a prisoner in his house for 4 years in Alaska. He's been a prisoner in his body for 4 years, from probably longer than 4 years, and over 700 pounds. He had a normal childhood. He wasn't like a big kid, I don't think, from his story. And he got on YouTube probably about 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, and he told his story. And this Kerry, the Kerry with HomeSteadNow, he did do one of those things to help him, go fund me. And enough people had sent in money that he was able to order from Amazon, because the man can't get out of his house. He doesn't get out. He ordered from Amazon a cow, so he got a lot of meat. Then when he got the cow, you've got to see his video, by the way, Bill Knott, and I forget the name of his video, but Bill Knott YouTube, and put in 700 pound Alaska, and it'll come up. Anyway, he showed on his video all this meat wrapped up in that paper wrap, that butcher wrap, all of it was on a table, all this meat. He was showing us all the meat that he had. He was so excited, and he's been doing really great. He's still doing, he puts his video out every now and then, he lets you know what he's doing. And I said, it's time I do one. And I've already been kind of toying with it. I talked to Kerry HomeSteadNow, and I had said, I really wish you would teach me how to YouTube. I mean, I know how to YouTube as far as getting on it, but I don't know how to use the thumbnails. And my grandson, who's 16, I'm going to bring him over to my house, and he's going to teach me how to use the thumbnails, because it looks really nice. You can have a little thumbnail up here saying something, or kind of giving information and everything. It just looks really nice. So, like I said, I started this thing. It was probably July. In July I started it, or I toyed with it in June, but in July I really started trying harder, and I still wasn't doing it 100%. And now I'm still not, like I said, I'm 95% carnivore, because I'm going to have my strawberries, and that's fine. And if you, there's another woman here, that's what I'll tell you about. This other lady, her name, the Lisa that I told you about, D1, Lisa tells you, do carnivore the only way you can. You decide what you want to do. If you're 95% or 90% carnivore, that means meat products only, high protein only, from an animal. If you do that, then you can have your 5% or your 10% that you're not carnivore, but do what works for you. And she says she is not giving up her Diet Coke. And see, there's nothing wrong with Diet Coke. Diet Coke is not going to hurt her. And she said that the sweetener in that Diet Coke is not hurting her, but she found a sweetener in another drink did hurt her. but even though it's artificial, the other one I think made her sluggish or her brain, her brain fog or whatever, upset stomach. But this Diet Coke, says, I love my Diet Coke. And she said, I'm not giving it up. And she doesn't have to, because there's no carbs in it, there's no calories in it, and so she's made that her thing that she's going to do. But she still calls herself carnivore because she only eats the meat and the meat products and the meat from an animal, and that's what she does. So anyway, I just had to share this. I'm not telling anybody how to live your life. I'm just saying, hey, if I got information that's good, I'm going to tell you, because these people, Dr. Ken Berry, the heart surgeon, Phillip, and then Kerry from HomeSteadNow, and then Lisa, all these people, and Kelly Hogan, all these people, I've been watching their videos. I've been interacting with them, responding to their videos, and I've been encouraged, literally encouraged by them. But it didn't like I just woke up one day and said, oh, I think I'll do this, or I'll go low carb. I've been low carbing it off and on since the 70s. I think it was like 1972 that I got a hold of Dr. Stillman's book. And I'm thinking his name was Maxwell Stillman. Some of you might know exactly who I'm talking about. Maxwell Stillman. And then, of course, later came, like I say, Dr. Atkins. And then, of course, keto. But we do know it works. But you know what? You may think, oh, that's just too extreme. Well, I have to be extreme. I like being extreme. And I like knowing I got that one thing I can have that's not hurting me at all, and that's my strawberries and my half and half. And I just want to give this information out. I'm not telling anybody you got to do it. I'm not saying you're going to die if you don't do it. But I'm telling you, if you'll listen to these doctors, you'll find out there are health benefits. There's proof. And my own doctor said it for me. He said, Deborah, it's amazing that you're 71 years old and your body looks like this. You got your bones are like this. Your blood work looks like this. I mean, he's impressed. So, hey, I might have something to say. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. And I will be doing another one soon. And I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you would look up these people, especially Ken Berry. And of course the doctor, the heart surgeon, and Kelly Hogan. So thank y'all for listening. Have a good day. Praise the Lord. I'm a happy Christian. And my Heavenly Father taught me how to eat, and He's brought me further on into it. But He didn't put it all on me at once. I would have thought you was crazy if somebody said, hey, you need to do carnivore. I'd have thought they were absolutely insane. But you know what? Carnivore is easier than doing the other, because you don't have to stop and think, what am I going to eat today? I don't wake up, what am I going to eat today? I know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat some beef, and I'm going to have some chicken, probably some eggs and some bacon, and I'm happy. Praise the Lord. So y'all, please look up these other people. Thank you for watching.